for real. And then we will live stream this to our Facebook friends.
Oh
Okay?
crap!
What? Now you're already on here. Okay, so yes. All right, so give me 1 second. I just got to put on here. Um, okay. Oops. What are you laughing at, Jeffy?
So her clicking my nails.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
My cup matches your shirt.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I
it
know.
does.
I'm so excited. All right. I think it's okay. It's going, and then I'll just keep it up in case there's questions or comments or. But you're on here now, so we get your feedback automatically, which I am real excited about. Okay. Awesome. And we're back. Okay, hey everybody, welcome to this episode of So Much JENergy. It's me, Jenny McKinney, and I am here with paper mache hair.
Hair looks like you used construction scissors on it.
So for those of you that can't see, I have a digital background, and it's kind of funny because it keeps popping in and out. So thanks for coming to this episode of So Much JENergy. It's me, Jenny McKinney, and I am here with Jeff Jones.
Jen, thanks for having me. But real
Again
quick, I've got a
in New
question
York.
for you.
Okay.
This is something kids and I were talking about over the weekend.
Yeah.
Jen, do you know the difference between a vitamin and a hormone?
Oh, I don't know.
You can't make a vitamin.
Stupid. All right, Jeffy, help me welcome our guest this week, who is our podcast friend and my personal friend in life, my mediumship friend, Tabitha Meadows.
Hello, Deb. Hello, Jen.
Tabitha, welcome.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
good times. Yeah,
Thank you.
so why don't you tell us and the audience a little bit about yourself, and then I have some chit chatting that we can do with you. I'm so excited.
I'm I, I'm Tabitha Meadows. I am a medium and a psychic. I do energy work, and I also am into paranormal. And I'm pausing. I've got mental pause.
Yeah,
See, you got a lot of bongos and percussion instruments around you.
I do.
yeah.
It's really funny when somebody asks you, you can talk about other things like all day long, right? But someone asks you a question about yourself and you're like, oh, dun, dun, dun.
Do you just turn around and slap it and like create your own ambiance?
Yeah, smack bump.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're super stoked that you're here. I do have to show you. I found these fun glasses for you.
Oh, so awesome.
Ah, well,
I have a little prop box, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have musical note
Oh,
glasses.
props to your box.
Yeah, I got a prop box. Sometimes you got to prop that box up, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. All right, so Toots, let's chat about mediumship. So the last few episodes Jeff Jones and I've been talking about mediumship and like different things, different aspects and variables in mediumship. So can you kind of just share like what's your favorite thing about mediumship?
My favorite thing about mediumship is remote viewing. actually.
Oh,
Do like to remote view. And in remote viewing, I like to work on um, missing persons and cold cases.
yes. Yes. So can you kind of
When
just
you do
explain?
that, do you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. When you do that, do you just seek out your own cold cases and try to get a reading on it?
Um, not, I'm not there yet. I've been doing this for about a year and a half. So I'm not professional. I don't take any money for it. I have been working with other professionals doing this.
Nice,
You know
nice.
how Mr. Rogers says, "Look for the helpers." I'm a helper. I assist with these cases. So yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
And so it would be, is this part of a group? So are you part of a group that just says, "Hey, can if anybody's available, can you kind of, tap in and tune in, or how does that work?"
Um, it's kind of it's kind of an in and out group.
Okay.
Like the two people that work professionally, I'll get with them sometimes and say, "Hey, do you have anything that you need help with?" And it'll either be a yes or no, or sometimes I pop into my mentor's circles when she's doing the psychic circles, and she'll be having either live cases on there or cases that have already been worked and we're practicing and that sort of thing. So,
Okay, awesome. What can and I know I'm not don't want to ask for any details, but
yeah.
can you kind of explain in case our audience doesn't understand like what remote viewing would be so that they can kind of start with you on the initial like intake of your case?
Okay, so there's different types of remote viewing. Um, and the type I do, and I can only speak to what I do personally, is I just go direct. So basically, we are generally given, and this is all I like to be given, given a photograph, a name, a date that they went missing, and a time that they went missing. And that's all I like to have. And um, sometimes it happens immediately that the person who has passed may show up, or I might have to tune in a little bit more deeply by concentrating on the location. And it's it's sort of it's sort of like an astral projection. Some people actually do astral project themselves into the area, and I I have gone to the area, but it's every case is different. So the way I actually go in ends up being different every time. So um what I do is start to concentrate on the person. And like I said, they may come through, or I may have to concentrate on the area. So let's just say someone came to me with a case in New Jersey. This person went missing, and it was wild because the person who was missing immediately showed up to me mediumistically, because a lot of the work they say is psychic, but from my perspective and from what has happened for me, it's an ebb and flow of both. It's not just, one or the other. It kind of, I let it flow, and it pops in and out. Uh, but the person immediately shows up to me, and because it's a fresh case, and she's like she's ready to help because she knew what happened to her. So she basically took me on a spirit journey. I blended with her so tightly that I became her, and we went to the location, and I walked where she walked. Looked around, and I could see the things that she saw, the path, the signs. And I even was able to experience what happened to her during the incident and where she could be located.
Mm,
So, and it's, sometimes it's you've got to be ready for it, because it's not an easy thing,
yeah.
but it's a helpful thing. So it's something that I don't mind taking on if it helps another human being.
Yeah. And so did that so does the information that you share, does that get shared to the case manager, or um do they take your information and then give that to like authorities, or um how does that work?
Um, so, um, since I'm so new into it, I'm about a year and a half. I don't work directly with authorities yet. Generally, people have somehow gotten in, they're known, and they do have someone that they're working with, and I don't. So what I do is, I guess I'm like a medium. I'm the
Yeah,
in-between. I'm the conduit. I just give my information to a, the person connected closely, and they will deliver the information and the messages. Because ultimately, I can't solve these cases.
sure.
It's not for me to solve. It's just for me to give helpful information.
Sure. So with that case, was that information passed on, and then were they able, what would be the outcome, or do you have an outcome of that one?
Uh, yes. The person, as we um the person in the case who um did what they did, he was they're very sloppy. Um so we had told the person, and the person was going to the other person who had asked for help. Um, and Just as we had thought, since the person was so sloppy, we said, "This is where you're going to find them. Um, if someone else doesn't happen upon them first."
Mm,
And I just pray that that's not a small child. But it did, in fact, someone happened upon them first. So before this person could go down to where we said, um, someone happened upon them. So the authorities were already on the case.
mm, gotcha.
But everything that we had said and worked through, they would have been found.
Wow,
Nice, nice.
interesting. So, um, do you, when you first started this, because I was in a group, like just a practice group, is like a first timer, where anybody was welcome, and they just show you pictures. These were solved cases, so it was more just a remote viewing into to see what you could get information from the pictures that they would show.
Mhm.
And so when I did that, uh, it was crazy because I find it very easy to remote view. And so if I'm shown a picture, I'm able to tap into the picture easily, and I usually can feel things, hear things, see things immediately. But just to share with the audience too, from the picture, if there's a picture of a house and I'm tapping into the energy of the house, I may be hearing and seeing and feeling things from the like 30th family that lived there. You know what I mean? So if it's built in, 200 years ago, I might be feeling a family that lived there 3 families ago. Or, so it may not be specifically the family that's there now. Um, but what I find is it seems to be more current, or if something traumatic happened in there. It's almost like the energy gets tapped into to tap into that. And I just have a personal boundary up of don't show me because I don't want to see how you passed, especially if
Right.
it was tragic. And so what I realized is they weren't showing me, but I could still hear everything.
Yes.
So I had a very hard time emotionally after it was a great experiment. I was amazing at it, but I had a really hard time because I wasn't ready because I thought because I had the boundary up of don't show me, but they had me hear it and I wasn't ready because I heard it. And so do you have any boundaries up, or is it just like a free for all and like it's just for the greater good?
Honestly, I don't have any boundaries up. It's for the greater good, but if I am walking into a situation and there has been a situation where things were getting ready to happen to a victim, and I said, no, thank you. That's not a detail that I need to know, but I do appreciate it. However, in that action, if there's something around there when the action is occurring that's important,
Right.
by all means, show me that. So yeah, it's setting an intention. What like you're talking about, you may get other things or other actions. So my intention is to, when I connect to the eyes and the soul of that person, I only want information pertaining to them at that time, and that's generally how it comes in for me personally, and everybody's different.
Sure.
The way it's going to start for you, everybody can do this, just like mediumship. The way it's going to start for you is different for every single person. You
Right.
can hear, smell, taste. I've smelled whiskey barrels before in one of the cases, and it's just one of the wildest things because you know that you're nowhere near a whiskey barrel, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're smelling the must, and you could even, like, your skin starts to even feel tacky, and it's
Mm.
just so amazing how you can actually be placed there, and that speaks to how extremely connected we are to one another,
Right.
living and those who have transitioned.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
how do you feel about the energy of the place that those things happen? Do you feel like the energy stays there, or let's say if the spirit comes to you, do you feel like the energy comes with that person to you, or do you feel like there's still energy left where that event would have occurred?
Because of the occurrence, and I think we were talking about, where y'all were talking about certain things last week, and I brought up animism, and everything having a spirit and having its own energy. So yes, items, houses, it all collects that energy of that moment in time, and that's how people like Cindy Kaza can place her hand on something and connect to it, and basically what she's doing is it's when the space-time record, she's taken to that moment in time, and she's so amazing that she can start describing the room and the people in there and what's going on, and it's yes, things
Yeah,
are written.
that's
Homes
amazing.
become sentient. The more energy, the more people that you put into them, the more alive and the more expressive they become as well. And I know that sounds like a lot of woo-woo, but talk to your house.
Yeah, yeah. I do every day. I welcome it. Like I'm like, hey, it's a great day, and I open up the windows and I open up the door and I, tell it good morning and it's a great day. Um, and I started doing that because I have a little like witchy friend, and she told me, she's like, oh yeah, you should be talking to your house every day. Which I
Absolutely.
I was doing it energetically, but I wasn't saying the words.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
You know what? That's all a personal thing too. And since you are highly connected to everything to yourself, um, so just you can just feel into it and just do what feels right between you and the home. Some
yeah,
people do need a little bit of help. If you're not someone who's like connected to the energy of things before, you might need a little bit of help. But
yeah,
yeah, just follow your heart basically.
yeah,
And what you're doing, Jen, is creating a wonderful experience and wonderful energy for the people who are going to live in your home, 100 years down the road.
yeah, yeah. Jeff Jones, I was going to ask you real quick. Have you ever touched something and like felt energy from it, or had visions of anything when you've touched something?
No. No, but I know. I know. Again, I don't know. But I could see how things like
Yeah,
Tabitha saying, I could see how things could definitely harness and hold energy and hold that,
yeah,
especially if it's something that was personal or something to somebody who has passed. I could see them definitely, instilling energy or bestowing energy into something for sure. I mean, I
yeah,
get the concept and I do believe that could happen. I mean,
yeah. So,
Especially if it's traumatic. It's a
right.
hard press
y-
into what goes on around it. I mean,
Yeah,
right.
land, um, land really truly everywhere. There's been some very traumatic things happen on land, and it still carries the echo within it of the things that have happened on it. The trees, the dirt, the everything. A lot of the hauntings start from the ground.
yeah,
I could see that. That makes sense.
yeah.
I do have a question. I'm going to go back to when you were talking about like the missing persons. And Jen, you might even have some kind of input on this. Have you ever been shown like a photo of a missing person and the person hasn't passed on? They were
Yes.
still live and here somewhere, or you know what I mean? Now, how would you get that? Would that come from like a spirit guide that is because it's not the spirit of somebody who has passed that's telling you, obviously, they're still around.
Right. Um, at that point, you are tapping soul to soul psychically on this timeline with that person. So you're tapping into their direct energy. Um, and I have had that. Someone came to me with a missing girl in Washington State. Um, and I just happened to be at work. Thankfully, I was in the position that was. I was able to stand there with my phone open because you do not know when it's going to come rushing into you. And that it did. I didn't bother waiting. It just all of it came, the information come rushing into me. So I sat there on my phone immediately telling I'm there, I'm walking around, I'm seeing pipes on the ground, overpasses, I'm seeing water. So I just relay all this information as quickly as I can because when someone first goes missing, those first 48 hours are really crucial. Time is of the essence. So, you know what? If somebody came up to me, I was going to tell them, look, I'm working on something right now that's very important and too bad, uh, because her life meant more to me than my job. Seriously. So yeah, popped in all the information. That person got the information to the mother. She said, "Holy crap, I know where that is." She was able to go directly to where she was. And if I had waited 5 more minutes, she would have missed her because they were getting ready to leave. And she got her. So yes.
Whoa. And can you share, was the girl, was she taken, or was she a runaway, or how did that work?
Runaway.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. That is amazing. You're amazing. I mean,
Thank you. I when that was my first major helping to find someone and I cried.
yeah. Yeah.
I cried because, as a mother, um,
Well, you would
you
can be desperate, right? I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but
absolutely.
but you would
Nope.
feel that desperation of like, my God, and especially with the authorities. I mean, there's so many regulations on different
Yes.
things like, oh, well, they can leave. They have the ability to leave. It
Yep.
doesn't mean they're safe, and it doesn't
No.
mean it's normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so you know your child and you know when they're in trouble. You know what I mean?
And generally, you can't even report someone missing for 24 hours. And again, I cannot tell you how crucial
Right.
those first hours are.
Yeah.
Every minute, every second counts.
And isn't that crazy? Because law enforcement knows that the first 48 hours are very crucial, but yet you can't report somebody missing and they won't give it a dime until it's
It,
been 24 hours.
it's an age thing because I mean, we have free will. If it's someone over 18,
Yeah.
I'm free to go wherever I want, when I want, and I think I was just reading not too long ago that this lady had been found after 60 some years. She basically just walked out of the door and walked away from her life. And they just found her and she regrets nothing. But, I think about all the feelings of all the people in the family around her who just thought that she was gone.
Right.
She had,
Yeah.
who knows what happened to her because
Well, yeah,
without a body, there's
no
there's nothing.
information. Yeah. Wow. It's super
Hmm.
interesting. And what an amazing experience. And thank goodness that you did stop and take the time to honor that information and write it down. And um oh my gosh. And that was a great question, Jeffy, because just to think, how quickly and easily and available we are to tap into somebody. Um, that
Yes.
so I was going to share because Jeff Jones, he doesn't feel like he has experiences, but it would be like if you think about me and then I call you. Right? It's the same.
Right.
It's like telepathy essentially because you're tapping into each other's energy.
Absolutely.
I
It's
Yeah.
got you.
instantaneous.
Yeah.
We can those who have transitioned can be in many places at once. And the very second, like Jen said, the very second that you think about them, you are connecting to them. So if they want to, if they're not busy on some island in the afterlife
Right.
drinking a drink with a umbrella in it. You're like, hold on a minute, let me put my drink down. Hey, yeah, I'm here. It takes like, you're in
Yeah.
one second you're in Tahiti and then the next second you're in Virginia or Tennessee.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Or, if you think about somebody and then all of a sudden you can smell them, it's because they've popped right in because
yeah.
you thought about them and you made that connection just like you said. And then they can bring, um, like Jeff Jones has a friend at work that his mom just passed and
Mm.
he was thinking about her and then there was a situation she had turned a light on um, and it hasn't happened again but it's just an amazing experience to show that she was there.
Yeah, again, and it's part of that connectiveness and that that entanglement that we have with some people, even the living. You can be at work and you're like, oh, that client, Mrs. Williams, wow, she's such a nice lady. We haven't seen her in a long time. And like an hour later, Miss Williams is showing up. Why? Because you spoke her.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
spoke about her. And
Right.
it's wild. It in my lifetime that's happened time and time again.
Yeah.
So if it's not somebody that you want to talk to, don't speak.
Right. Right. I wanted to share one thing real quick. I'm gonna grab my book right here. So I wanted to share something, talk about like putting it out there and the things. So I was in a meeting with one of my mentors, Kaz Dukes, and she said, "Okay." She's like, "Do you have a book by you? Just grab a random book." Okay. She said, "Grab a random book and just read the very first sentence that's right on the first page that you open to, right?" And I was like, "Okay." So I opened to this page, no joke, okay? Here's the very first sentence. It says a helpful exercise might be opening a book to a random page and reading the first line your eyes find. I'm not even joking. I didn't even read this like I was like screaming and crying. Like, I mean, how much more can spirit be like, girl, like, get it together? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that,
make it up. It was right there,
I
right?
know.
They are
I
ready for you.
know.
They are
Yeah.
ready for you around every turn, every corner.
Yeah. I know. I just wanted to share one more thing too, and share if jump in if you've had this experience. So, in one of Cindy Kaye's classes, she had us go into a breakout room, and this was like a psychic exercise of tapping into an item that you feel the other person had. So the other person had to hold it in their hand, and you had to tap into that item. Okay, so I had this. Oops, hang on, let me see. Can you see it? It's like a little laughing Buddha, right? Okay. And so I had that in my hand, and the girl who tapped into this totally picked up on my grandma. And she's like, "Oh, it has something to do with a lady that loves red. She loves Christmas. She smoked a lot, like danced. She loved life." My grandma was with me when I bought this.
And
Oh,
Like,
Graham's had a couple Buddhas.
yeah. And I bought this exactly thinking of grandma. And when I say she was there, I mean in spirit. So like she was with me in spirit as I bought this. And so like
aw,
so so I just wanted to share too another example if people are tapping into items. It doesn't have to necessarily have the energy of like the laughing Buddha. It didn't, it came from China. Like not like that. It can have other energy attached to it, which was my thought process when I bought it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then,
They're, yes.
yeah. And then the item that she had in her hand was a book. And then I tapped into the energy of the author. So I could see like a 17-year-old girl out in California. She was typing on a typewriter. I could see like her paper clipping all her papers and like she was on the beach. And then I didn't know anything about the book, and she said on the back it was like the youngest author something in California, and this book was written by a 17-year-old girl. And I was like,
So,
what?
heck yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it
That's how
wasn't necessarily
connected
the
we are.
energy of the book in itself,
Yes,
like I didn't know anything about the book, but it's just, and it's so amazing. There's so many opportunities for you to just tap into something else. If the main thing is just be curious,
absolutely.
you know?
Be open-minded and be curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that is so amazing. And I'm just like, I'm so excited. First of all, I just love you so much. Like, I just love all our conversations that we have. Like,
Oh,
um,
I love you too so
oh,
much.
just so much. Jeffy, did you have any other questions for Tabitha?
I don't think so.
No? No. Okay, do you want to just share real quick about like your healing? Like your how do you heal or about your healing journey?
Oh gosh, my healing journey actually started when I was a teenager. Um, it's just like mediumship. Um, it's just something that I was naturally doing.
Yeah.
Um, my stepfather had had a heart attack,
Oh,
and he was having issues with one of the sides of his body, and it was he had some mobility issues, and he he wasn't much of a spiritual person, although he did he said he did believe in the devil because he was such a bad kid that the devil came to him to get him one night instead of he didn't straighten
oh
up. He
shoot.
was really gonna get him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I remember it. We were out in the yard, and I just grabbed onto him, and I started to pray. And just honestly, I didn't know, what I was doing. It just felt like the thing to do. So I held on to him, and we just prayed, and I prayed for him. And not too long after that, he actually started to get better. I thought,
Wow.
wow, that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then uh, not long after that, my own father ended up in the hospital, and I went to go see him, and he was he was not well at all, and his sisters were there, and it just struck me to again back then. I just grabbed their hands, and they started to pray, and I just stood there as a conduit of energy, and I firmly believe that connecting to people like that, and just standing there and holding space, um, and sharing your vibration has a positive impact on others when they're um what is it? It's it's I'm trying to remember. I don't feel like it's a block. It's just a I'm trying to think of my words. When I think in terms of energy, some folks will say it's, oh, I'm blocked, I'm blocked, but it's for me, it's like it's a shift in your energy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I've seen the work that you have done too, and basically you're just showing up for people, and when you're in a good place, or you set your intention, you're just helping them align like like a tuning fork, and you're hitting that tuning fork and that vibration comes towards you and your body reacts to that vibration, and eventually they start vibrating together.
Yeah.
So um yeah, it's something I always felt I could do. Um, and it's something that I told one of those my father's sister, my aunt, one day, and she's like, "You really think you can heal people?" And in my heart and in my person, I said, "Yes." But then, when someone looks at you funny, and oh, really?
Yeah.
Like in my heart, yes, yes, I can. But then, as soon as that happens,
Yeah.
oh man, I felt the way, and I dialed it back. And some years, some years down the road, I was in a shopping center, and I just happened upon this lady who did Reiki, and so I said, what the heck? Let's go in here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, and went to her house for a couple of circles. What I don't know, it's been 10 some years ago.
Yeah.
And actually had one of the people in there say, um, you know, this is this is part of your destiny.
Yeah.
She um she was mediumistic as well, and she's like, I could see you in this green cloak and healing people. And she's like, you don't know it now, but Reiki is a part. And back then I was like, because it wasn't really on my radar to go through the classes. But one thing's led to another, and mediumship, it almost goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
um I'm glad I did the way that I did it, because I'm able to pick up on things and within people's bodies. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
a conduit, so
Yeah.
I can relay a message, and then you
Yeah.
go get it checked out.
Yeah. I
Nice.
love that. I love that. And I understand too what you're saying about the dialing it back, especially when you feel that person's energy push into you, like the resistance of who do you think you are? Who do you think you can heal? Why would you
Yes.
put yourself way up there? But it's just the energy that
Yeah, it was
they're
exactly like that too.
yeah. I realize I feel like spiritual note taker has been coming to me. Like I feel like that's what I get to do. I just there's like healing happening out in the ethers, and I just get to see it and experience it for you and
Yes.
facilitate the note taking. And
Yes.
so uh
Just the
and
messenger.
yeah, that's exactly it. Like and here's the thing too. You can't they can't work on you unless you give permission, right?
Right.
So all you have to do is ask, and you will receive, literally. I mean, I know that's what we've always been told, but it is literally. So a lot of people are like, oh man, like I wish I could have this and this. The thing is, you just have to put it out there, because
That's right.
spirit and the universe needs your permission.
Yeah.
They can't just start blasting you with all this energy if you didn't ask for it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You've got to align with it. And the other thing is too, when you ask someone for their permission, there's uh some bit of wanting to as
Right.
well. You've got
Yes.
to want to begin the healing process as well.
Yes.
That's important too.
And don't and just to share too with everybody is, just because you think it's this thing, it's probably five other things that are have nothing to do with this that you think it is. So, you know, don't be a control freak and
Nope.
come and say, "Hey, I think I have an attachment," but really spirit is going to be like, "Girl, you haven't even been dealing with these things. Like it's not an attachment. it's just all that crap on your back. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
because everybody now is like, oh, I have stuff on me. But the thing is, your energy field can collect all that,
Yeah.
because just like you were sharing too, and like we were talking too, Jeffy, is like the minute you think about somebody, you're connected. And so now you
Yes.
have a
Right.
cord, and that cord is connected. And so when you have
Yes.
so many cords that you have not cut between you and those people,
Hmm.
your energy gets heavy and thick, and then you feel like you have an attachment, but it's really because you are connected to 60 other people that have their own emotions that are
Yes.
affecting you. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And uh, just going back to missing persons, that's talking about the chords. Once you start a case with someone, I have several of them that I still carry with me because their cases have not been solved.
Mm,
And honestly, I've had people say, "Oh, you've got to put them down. You've got to break that." I don't want to, and I will when I'm ready. But they matter so much to me that I do carry them with me. I do think about them quite often, and quite often they are still sending songs, commercials, just these little things, something someone might say on a podcast. It's wild how the messages come through. It's like if you start paying attention to everything, there's generally some meaning. And I know some people out there will poo-poo that.
yeah, yeah. I feel like your
Like,
connection though is like it's a love connection is what I kept hearing when you kept telling me that people are like, oh, you got to put it down. But the thing is, the spirits still need to know that they're loved and that they're being looked for.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And, say their name. I have not, as long as I'm walking on this earth, I'm not going to forget about you.
right,
I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep hearing you. I'm going to keep seeing those connections. And, if I in the future, happen to be working on a case, then I'll give it to the proper people that it needs to go to. But,
right,
right now when I get a thing, information, I'll quickly go to the people that that it needs to go to.
yeah,
And it's so important. You think that, you know, I don't know, maybe you saw a cigarette blowing in the wind on the ground, and you paid attention to it for a little bit longer than you would have, and you might think that's meaningless, but you're like, and then you start thinking, all of a sudden you start thinking about the person and the case, and you're like, holy moly. So you go to your contact and you tell them, and then they're like, holy crap, this and this
yeah,
that connects.
yeah,
So it's just, seriously, all the little details matter.
yeah.
All
I
of them
feel like
matter.
too, it's interesting because I've never thought of uh, like the dark side of mediumship, and that's exactly how it feels. Like, people usually consider like the dark side, like dark meaning bad, but this would just be a darker side, right? Because mediumship is like healing and messages and sharing information, and then yet the other side is the hard part of this.
I think it's dark in the sense of the trauma that
Right.
occurs.
Yes.
Uh, However, there is very much healing and a beautiful light that can come from finding a person and bringing them home to their loved ones.
Right. Yeah.
So they're on this side of it, there can be, it's more of a balance.
Yeah.
And to that, I'm all about the victim versus the perp.
Right.
I don't, speaking to dark side of things, I don't generally like to connect to
Right.
the energy of a perp.
Yes.
Um, I did that not too long ago,
Mm.
and it was for me.
Yeah.
Someone else out there can do these things and they should do these things to help with these cases. Um, but for me, it was a heaviness and lack of love and a lack of respect for human life,
Mm.
um, almost a nothingness there
Yeah.
that I didn't want to be connected to,
Sure.
um, because I want to be connected to the
Right.
loving parts of humanity, because
Right.
I think that's very important.
Yes.
Even though, you know, those people, even though they did what they did, they need love too. There's a reason why that they did it. And as you and I know, when you talk to people in the afterlife, they have they have to speak for what they did.
Yeah.
They have to keep working on their soul once they transition here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's such an honor too that you are invested in that situation and those cases, and thank you so much to you and the teams that you work on. And it's
Oh,
interesting because you keep saying like I'm a newbie and like, but look at the amazing things that you're doing and all the experience that you're getting, and just such an honor for, and those spirits too, you know what I mean, they are so grateful
oh,
for
I
you
love them
working on
so
that.
much.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I wish I really wish I could say their names, but
Yeah.
most of them are still open. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's okay. That's respectful. And we'll just hold that space for them and the right people to get a hold of their cases, so that they can find maybe just that one piece of information, that can help find them.
Yes.
And yes, oh gosh, just so cute. You're so cute. And
Oh,
um yeah.
what I want to say is, what could be helpful too, and a little bit of a preventative measure. Um, if you're out here, um, if you're out here shopping and you see something start to occur, if someone's trying to grab someone do something. Don't just stand there. Do something. Say something. Record it. Pay attention.
Right.
Don't look away. Don't look away. That's that's someone's son or daughter that this is happening to, and
Right.
um, you know,
Well, especially
for a
in this
lot of
day and
people,
age, I mean, you all have a cell phone. There's no reason why you can't just pick
yeah,
out a video and get a license plate, or, you know, not, I'm not saying get involved, like don't get directly, I mean, I
yeah.
guess, I don't know. I make the best,
Unless you're feeling bold.
yeah. Then,
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, I don't know, we can follow the person, we can call 911 and say, hey, this is what I saw. You know,
yeah.
I've done that. Somebody stole my purse and I followed them. You know what I
Heck
mean?
yeah.
Gosh. I mean, I chased them down, but yeah,
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 until for some people, until it's in your backyard, it's
right.
not your problem.
Yeah,
Right.
But
yeah.
it is. That's a human being, and every human being matters,
Well, and if somebody is so bold to do that in front of other people, that's not the first or the last time that it will
right?
happen.
Oh, it is not.
Right,
It's not. Some people can't help themselves.
right.
They
Yeah,
can't help themselves.
yeah. So let's help them get
Yes.
out of there. Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness sakes. Well, let's end on a lighter note.
Yeah.
Like a lighter note. And why don't you go ahead and share where people can find you if they're interested in connecting with you? And yes. Oh,
I I am so new into getting myself together. I just started my business recently. It's a baby.
yeah.
My business is called Traveler's Light.
Yeah.
You can reach me through travelerslight1111 at gmail.com. So that's travelerslight1111 at gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook. Tabitha Meadows. I'm in Virginia, just out of Richmond. And right now, I actually I have a picture of missing and murdered indigenous women as my picture, so not too hard to find.
Okay.
But those are the way to reach me right now, because I
Yeah.
am slowly working towards
Yeah.
really putting myself out there. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. And I just wanted to share real quick. So Tanya is watching us on Facebook, and she shared. She said, "Heck yeah! If I ever seen somebody, oh, hang on, I lost it. Oh, if I ever see somebody snatch someone, I'd for real take them down. I'd never forgive myself if I didn't. So,
heck yeah,
yeah,
smack them with your purse, throw cans of groceries. I don't know,
yeah,
slam a cart into them.
yeah. I know. I mean, I carry pepper spray. I mean, some people carry other weapons. I got a Bigfoot tree knocker. I mean, I don't knock on the trees because I don't want to do that, but I'll slap somebody right upside
Oh
their melon.
yeah. Mm. I, I mean, I would want someone to do that for me.
I know, right? Maybe that should be
Heck
my
yeah.
spirit word when I come back. Knockers. Like tree knockers, Jeffy.
Yeah.
Knock.
All right, Tabitha. Well, thanks so much for being here. It was such an honor and good to see you,
Thank
Jeffy.
you.
Thanks for shooting on here from New York again. And
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
No,
I
thanks for
just,
having me. Oh,
all
thank
right,
you. Thank you.
everybody, we will see you next week. Thanks for being here.